welcome to another edition of MN Ultra Project. The comma, there's a comma there. No. Hey, we're kind of live. We won't be when you listen to it, but we are right now, and that's all that matters. We're going to be talking about a few things tonight. We're going to be talking about Simon Sinek. We're going to be talking about crazy, stupid people. We're going to talk about Dawn of the Dead from 1979, the year Elvis died, for those keeping track. And then we might even touch on the Karen epidemic, which is that worse than COVID? I don't know, but I think we need to have a conversation.
We will find out.
Nobody can deny the Karen epidemic. There's a lot of people denying that COVID is real, which, yeah. Many of which are Karens. So, there you go.
Or we need, what's the dude equivalent of Karen? We don't have one.
Chet.
Chad.
Chad. Cheddar Chad.
Daryl. Oh, Daryl.
Yeah.
Daryl and Larry. Manager, assistant manager of the fucking Chicky barbecue place.
We just want to say to all the collateral damage of the Karen, Larry, Daryl, whatever. It sucks that you got that name.
We're sorry.
We're really sorry, but you can play and have some fun with it, or just change your name. You know, I mean, as Elon Musk and his wife. I think she's his wife. You can just put symbols and shit in your name, and
I think she's
it's a name now.
So.
Are they married?
Oh, there's partners. Okay.
Partner. I think they're. I don't know.
Grimes.
It matters. So, what do you guys think of the world at large as of late?
Whole bag of worms. We want to go there? Let's start with Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead, 1979. Let's do that.
Speaking of better times, Dawn of the Dead, when half the globe was covered by the dead. Man, that was nice. Remember those days?
Nothing like now. Totally different.
It takes me back. Yeah.
Yeah, when you could actually go to them all.
Right.
Yeah.
So initial thoughts.
Well, no, it was empty then too, except for like 7 people.
There were more brains in that mall.
There are.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm done. We're gonna talk about this.
Zing.
So, Jeremy, you recommended this. I got to start with you. Like, why? Like, what did this movie impact you?
It was the first movie I guess I saw that I was like had like social influence to me when I saw it. Like, I'm like connecting dots and stuff. Obviously, I didn't grow up in that area, but just the commentary on the having to use the mall as a fortress. All these brainless zombies walking around, consumerism, that social
allegory?
It's allegory, social commentary, whatever you want to make of it. The idea of the 70s was very bright, and you could tell that, like, most zombie movies you see are, like, super, like, gritty, and this was, like, the exact opposite, where it's, like, the blood was, like, the brightest red you've ever seen possible.
Yeah, that's Romero's trademark, though.
Right.
He always went for the bright, because he wanted it to look like blood, but not so much that it looks like blood.
Mm-hmm.
That makes any sense.
He wanted to have fun at the movies. What I really liked about it was not necessarily the zombies and stuff, but how he did the humans. Like how when they were going out to do these missions and stuff, like to grab the trucks or go get shit, they were fucking crazy, frenzied. They were like lizard brain.
Right, and it's one of those. It's one of those things that they weren't thinking straight. Right, it was like all for themselves, not thought through.
And that's what that's one thing that I really liked about it was the human condition aspect, where you got people like you said, they're not thinking straight. They're literally thinking with their lizard brain, and I think it's almost a snapshot of what. Because I know you guys have heard me say things like, I would not want to be in a crisis situation with that person. You know? In that movie, most of those fucking people, I would not want to be in a crisis situation with.
Sure.
It's like, let's think, stop, just relax. But then again, as I always say, in a world gone insane, the sane man is the anomaly.
Right.
So, because once that mob or herd mentality kicks in, if you're not buying into that, or you're not coughing up that dogma, you're part of the problem at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, in a lot of it's not like the zombies in this movie were tough to deal with. Like it was the humans making just stupid mistakes, like you said, losing their minds.
Yep.
That caused it. And the other thing I really liked about this was the pacing of the movie. Like he kept it as close to a real time type of scenario. Where most zombie movies, they would have went to the mall. That would have been maybe 30 minutes of the movie, and then on to the next thing. But he kept it kind of like this slow plodding pace for a movie that's like 2.5 hours. But it felt right though. It made it more real to me to watch that. Even a movie in the 70s with the bad audio shit going on and the acting.
And the stellar acting.
The acting and the music was, I mean, they've obviously made hops in the music and how things go, and there was corny aspects of it.
When they in the beginning, when they go into that basement and the priest comes out, he goes, "I've given them their last rites." He goes, "I've done everything I can, and I know you have to do what you got to do." And he walks away, and then he go into the room, and you see all these zombies just eating body parts and stuff, right?
Yep.
And then on the floor, I had to back it up and show Brenda. There's a complete skeleton, like the kind that you see hanging in class.
Right.
Just laying on the floor. It's like, you guys are good. I mean, you managed. You left just enough sinew so that the bones held together.
That's right.
Afternoon.
Now, just out of curiosity, did you guys see the remake?
I did.
From 2004?
No.
It's been a while. That was the dude that did Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, really?
Now
yeah.
Look it up.
Did you like it, Jeremy?
I liked it, not as much as this one. Doesn't have that social commentary type of tinge, but it's got Vin Rames in it, and it's
cool.
good.
Well, the thing is, in this one, this is, I think, when we were introduced to fast zombies. Okay, and the thing is, that movie gave the very probably opening scene gave Kayla fucking night terrors as a fucking little teenager.
The 2004 version is what you're talking about now. Oh, okay.
There's one point where this little girl breaks it, they wake up, and the neighbor girl's in the house, and the husband's like, "Oh, what the fuck? What are you doing in here?" And she's like, and then she just launches onto him, and he lobs her down the hall, right? Because she's just a little kid, and when she hits the ground, she like bam, just splats on the ground. But then she just does this weird jump thing, but she just goes from laying flat to just jumping up, and bam, she's ready. That fucked Kayla up. That's right up there with Chucky dolls.
I'll take that back. So the director was Zack Snyder, so take that with whatever grain of salt you want. But the writer was James Gunn and George Romero, so it was kind of a split. So
gotcha.
The writer is.
But no, I think they really captured what it would be like in the Romero's version of '79. I did a really good job of capturing that human condition, and just how people they just get to that primordial level. It's like all of those social skills that we've been building for the past few hundred years. Like,
and then right when you think they're gonna come back to that semblance of normalcy, it's just like gone.
Yep.
The bikers have to come in and ruin everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. There's always something in the way. A lot of times it's the humans getting in their own way. I just love how the movie's about zombies, but it's not. Like they're like the afterthought of the movie to me. Like they were, they established early that they're a threat. They're in big hordes and stuff. But if you fuck up, that's when they get you. It's not them like thinking their way through it, which was kind of nice.
We can honestly say the Karens are going to be like some of the first.
Yeah. They're going to see their manager. I want to see your manager. And they're going to die.
In the same vein of what we're talking about, I'm reading a book right now. It's basically about this pandemic that's going on. Who knew?
Is this a book or is this a?
I was going to say
a live feed from something. I don't know.
No.
That's what I want to read right now. Yeah.
We don't want it to be a live feed because basically what this whatever.
He's going rogue.
No. Basically, it's not a zombie story, but this thing infects people to where it's like a rage virus.
Oh.
And it triggers this one part in the brain that they laugh at pain and they laugh when they're given pain. So it turns you into this sadistic, high functioning, just psychopath and murder. And it's just like it's taken the whole world by storm. And it's just they've really done a good job of capturing that social aspect. Where how people just do stupid shit. No, I got to go back. I got to go get my daughter because I told her I'd be back. It's like, your daughter's dead, okay? She's in this area. See this area that's burnt to a fucking cinder? She's dead. I have to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. And at the same time, okay. We're moving out. He's going that way. But
yeah, go ahead.
You go ahead. You're good.
The movie painted this thing like the most dangerous thing to have around you was not the zombies; it was other people.
Right.
That is.
Some other zombie movies try to paint that, but if you don't do it at the pace Romero did in this movie, to me, it doesn't have the same effect. Like, you have to watch the humans fuck up over and over again in the same scenario or the same location in order for that to really sink in and not feel fake.
A zombie movie that didn't pick up on that was World War Z.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, with
World War
Brad
Z
Pitt.
was...
The CG.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a very enjoyable movie. I enjoyed it. In fact, it freaked Amanda out so much I got her to slug me at the end of the night.
Are those all the zombie movies?
Yeah.
Freaking some girl out?
But they
Maybe
didn't
it's
have
just
any
you,
of that
JP.
social... Everyone was just trying to work together in that one. It's like, no, I understand where you're coming from, but everyone's not going to be wanting to fucking work together.
Correct.
Like 28 days later. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at how things just fell. And then, like, when they get to that one place where the army's at, and they got that little garden area inside the buildings, and they got one of their friends who had turned into a zombie, and they got him chained up.
Yep.
And I remember that the people who showed up there, they're asking this captain, like, that's your soldier, that was your friend, that was you knew him. And he's like, well, that's not him anymore. But it was him, and you guys are just sitting here taking pot shots at him and just, because it's fun. It's like, but just how quick, it's like, what? He's not in there anymore. It's like, everything you've ever known is encased right there. Or even though there's a little aspect inside of him that's gone, I mean, put him out of his fucking misery.
I know, you're absolutely right. Look how people treat each other when there isn't crazy shit going on. Like, just amplify that and make it 10 times worse, and that's how people are going to treat each other when shit hits the fan. I mean, we're getting some turds hitting some fans in 2020 right now, and we're kind of seeing what people are all about, right? So imagine if it was truly like a thing that would segment us off into groups. It's going to get violent.
Very tribal, and I like how the movie just straight starts off like it's utter chaos from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like, they're like already like, they don't realize that it's done, it's over. It's, taking off from Night of the Dead, obviously, but it's like everyone's like, fend for themselves, we'll see what happens.
The name of the book is called The Retreat, and it's mostly a military, you're in the eyes of the military, and then R.C. Bray does the narration. Which
he's awesome. Yeah, if you listen to audiobooks, absolutely.
He's an audiobook god.
Yep.
But
did he make a sequel to this? Like, so Dawn of the Dead, was there another Dead movie that came after
there's
Dawn of
lots
the Dead?
of, there's like 4 or 5 of them.
He did like Day of the Dead, which is afterwards, and that one, you start to learn that they're not as stupid as you think. So the military's caught one, and he's actually slowly getting social skills back.
Oh, crazy. Okay.
So
Is that Romero as well?
The barrels of the stuff that turned people into the zombies. Was that 3 or 4 or something like that? It just came out in the 80s. It is fucking horrible, but...
Is this the best of the
that's the retro
series?
One, right?
What?
Would you consider this the best of the...
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right.
Oh, the first one? Of course.
This one. I like this one the best.
Yeah. Dawn of the Dead.
Yes, I'm sorry. I kind of discount the old one because Lundo did a video where they redid there's like bad lip reading, but they did the whole movie.
What?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. What do you do? It's like it's right. No, but I think it's potentially analogous to what just the human condition of what we're seeing right now. Just look at how people are losing their mind over with just from all fronts with the whole George Floyd thing.
Well, even the pandemic. Look at the pandemic before that.
Well, no, yeah, there's the pandemic, but then this almost brought out a larger breed of conflict. You know,
Yeah.
there's more emotion to this one. Before it was like, I don't want to, you can't tell me I got to wear a mask. I have rights to. We're learning new things we can't say anymore. You know.
Geez, really? That's what you're learning from this?
Well,
Learning what you can't say? Sorry, but I'm gonna.
No. But I mean, no. You're learning what the triggers are. The trigger sayings are. With nowadays, it's like, it's Kayla and Jeremy. Jeremy put this thing on his Facebook the other day that basically said if you believe that, if you say that all lives matter, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You do?
Yep.
Because
if that is your response to Black Lives Matters,
Yep.
I have a problem with that.
No, it's not. But here's I think the core problem with the whole all lives matter thing is the delivery. Everyone's saying, no, man, all lives matter. All lives matter. It's like, you're right, but you're not saying it right. You're not using it right. So let's say, here's a good analogy for this. Okay. We want to focus on humanity. We want everything. I want everything to be fair for everybody. I don't want particular segments of society to be trod upon. Being black, brown, yellow, whatever you want to say. So what if we look at this as a spoke of a wheel? All right. So if you're or the spokes in like a wagon wheel, the problem is, you got to focus on all of your spokes. You got to make sure that everything is in there right, it's done correctly, and you got to maintain that, right? Well, if you just focus on a particular spoke of all this, now granted, there is systemic racism alive and well. I'm not going to argue that. It needs to change. But there's systemic racism that is not just focused on one particular minority. Now, granted, they probably have the majority of it, and it does ebb and flow. Right, but I think if they could maybe find a better way of saying, we need to basically, what I'm trying to say is, if we look at it from an all lives matter standpoint,
something popped up on your screen. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Just in the middle of there. Now it's gone. Now you're good. Okay.
What I'm saying is, let's look at all lives and see where are we fucking up. Okay, we're fucking over here with the African American community. We're fucking up with the Hispanic community. We're fucking up with the Asian community. We're fucking up all these different communities. Let's fix that. I mean, this thing is, yes, there's some changes that need to be made. Do I think we need to defund the police like they're saying as well? No. I don't think
that's a separate issue.
Oh, right, but it's
defunding the police is separate.
It's related though, because right now,
Sure.
when it comes to the BLM movement, the nemesis of the movement is law enforcement, because historically, law enforcement have.
I think it's people's perceptions too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yep, I'll give you that. But and some of the things, and when I say this, I am in no way, shape, or form defending the cops or condoning their behavior with any of this shit. Because it's complete bullshit. But I think what happens, some of this stuff happens is these cops are in these environments, and it gets so much that they become desensitized, and next thing you know, they fucking have their snap moments. Now, I think we could rectify that if we have better screening, hiring on the beginning side, and then counseling. Police, the law enforcement, as well as military, they're going through a lot of fucking shit constantly. In the military, they're in a fucking war all the time. Police, you're always seeing negative shit. People don't call you to their house because something good happened. They call unless they had a baby and they need an ambulance, but that's different. But
Can I interrupt you here? 'Cause you're going in a lot of places, and I just want to break down to make sure I fully understand what you're saying. So when you say all lives matter, when you're using that as a retort or in addition to Black Lives Matters, which you're not,
as a retort. That's the problem.
I used to think the same way. I used to be that same person until, like 2 weeks ago, where when I heard Black Lives Matters,
it fucking matters.
Black Lives Matter. I would say all lives matter. Well, that's what they're saying when they say Black Lives Matter. They want them to matter just as much as the rest, right?
And that's what I'm saying too.
Yeah, agreed. But so when people are saying all lives matter right now, how fucking stupid are you to put that out there right now? Like,
Yep.
we got to give Black Lives Matter some fucking space. Let them say their shit because they're right. Their lives matter just as much as the rest of lives. So when all these people are going, well, all lives matter, now's not the fucking time. Use your brain.
Our leader, Mr. Trump.
Oh, let's not call him that.
But unfortunately, that is his job, position, title. That's what it says on his name tag.
That's what he got voted in to do. Thank you, people.
Round of applause, I guess.
He's missing a chance right now with this, because what he should be doing is saying, let's have a conversation. Let's get some prominent leaders from the communities, from the different states. Let's create some reform. Let's get some bills, laws, whatever the fuck they got to do. Let's get them in here. Let's have a conversation. Where's it broken? How did it get broken? How do we fix it? And how do we make sure we don't get down that path again?
That's what a president should do. You are correct.
And
so why is he not doing that? Why is he going in the opposite direction?
Because he's full ego. Maybe we'll talk about the thing that bring up Simon Sinek. That's probably a good time to bring
absolutely.
this up now.
And he's also trying to buy votes, which is really fucked up that he would use this to buy votes. There are literally people out there who would buy into this and vote for him because he's saying this shit.
Well, like when you said George Floyd's probably looking down, just happy at what's happening today.
Yeah.
He said that Saturday.
Or how about the conspiracy, the old guy that got pushed in?
Yes, the Antifa guy.
Jesus Christ.
He had a scanner. He was scanning their system. So what do you fucking know about that?
And I'm generally a person, I don't like to pay attention to politics. I really don't, because they drive me up the fucking wall. But this guy, like, what are you doing, man? And you know what? I know people, I see them every day, who applaud those tweets.
Clowns.
Yep.
There are a lot of them. And I think that's, like, seriously, like, again, with all the stuff that's happened recently, and we're from Minnesota, so we were the epicenter of this, and what our cops did, so on and so forth. But dude, honestly, it's been an awakened moment in me, where I'm starting to stop friends from saying certain words, going down certain topics. Like I don't want to. Free speech is still up in the air. Of course, we want free speech, but we're not going those places anymore. Like that's bullshit, especially as white people. Like.
Yeah, so, like, I one of my coworkers the other day who texts me all the time. He's always dropping pictures. He's always just saying funny stuff. And I think right that first night of the protests, and he said, "Hey, what up?" Threw out the N-word, and I said, "No."
No, exactly. Yeah.
I said, "No, man." I said, "Not today. Sorry, not today." And then he went silent for the rest of the night. Sorry, man.
I'm at the point with some of the friends I have where it's just like, never again around me. Yeah. And that's honestly what I feel. This is not virtue signaling, but seeing this shit go down and like watching, I forced myself to watch what was happening around the globe with the burning stuff, the rioters versus the protesters versus the cops. Yeah. And I forced myself to watch it. It was not comfortable, but you need to fucking watch that. That's what happens. I don't understand some of the shit that some of LEOs around the country, law enforcement officers, sorry, some of the stupid shit that they've been doing.
They're just not trained to handle that. They're not.
Well, I know that, but right now they all know.
They're just idiots.
They know what sparked this, and that they're still propagating this shit and killing. It's like. You're starting a fucking race war, you moron.
Jeremy, like you were saying, they're not trained, but also like, what would you say to like the top down is telling these guys to do some of this, right?
I think they've gotten away with it for so long that there's, like JP said, it's like they're not trained to be counselors, right? I would rather put in 10,000 counselors to deal with this than cops to handle the situation.
Yeah.
First of all, what I'm saying is, with police, it's like Blade Runner, the new Blade Runner. you remember when they bring him into that room, and they would ask him the questions? They were just bizarre questions. He'd spit out the answer. Question. Answer. We need to do that with. I think all officers should have. To begin with, you should have to go through a stringent personality study. So they know that you're not.
So I just got to stop you right there. You're making a very big assumption that there's just all these people waiting to become police officers.
That's the thing. There's not. It's just like with the military.
Waiting to be a police officer, so they got to take shitheads.
I hear you, but we still need.
Are you a semi-shithead? Okay, fine. You're through. Go.
But still, I totally get it. Their mental state.
For the exception, right? Then as they're, probably I would say at least 4 times a year, if not more, every fucking police officer goes through heavy counseling where they have to they're put in a position. It's like, you have to do this or you're fucking fired, and then and they do it, and then because that way you could spot problems ahead of time, more than likely,
maybe
and hopefully fix some of the things, and maybe you get to a point where it's like, oh shit, man, there's a real bubble in this hose. This is really weak. And you can fix it, massage it, and then, so it's just, I think it's a matter of, it's how we approach it in the first place will help us from ending up where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe at that point through just people seeing what these new police are like, that will attract more people to more moths to the flame, so to say.
I think a community needs to be involved with the police force more. The citizens need to make more decisions about the police than they are right now. It feels like it's an us versus them. Even as somebody, I'm this white dude who lives in suburbs in Minnesota, so I don't have police activity that I bump into a lot, but it's still an us versus them thing. I don't understand them. Yep. They don't seem to understand me. So I can't imagine what that's like for a minority or in a downtown situation. You know what I mean? Like the community needs to be involved with it more. So, yeah. But sorry, the Simon Sinek thing. Sorry.
So that Simon Sinek thing will actually bring us into
back to our fearless leader.
Yeah. So this was an interesting take that JP, you sent this to me, I think.
Both of you.
It took me, it took me back kind of. Like the Simon Sinek guy's a really good speaker. Oh, here we go. We'll play just one part of it.
So Donald Trump, as you said, he's not popular for who he is. He's popular for who he isn't. He's not a politician. And that's it. It's not a vote for Donald Trump. It's a vote against everyone else. And they should all be ashamed of themselves. All of them, Republicans, Democrats. Now there's the other side of it, which is the question that must be raised, which is, are our politicians a reflection of us?
Bam.
It's a mirror raised to us. And should we be the first to throw stones, or should we accept that maybe we get the politicians we deserve?
All right, I'm just going to pause it there for a second. Stop sharing. We can go back to it if we want to listen to more.
Yep. Actually, that is the core of his message in that one.
Huge. It's a way I never thought about it. As much as I don't like the man because he's a narcissist and whatever, but he's a reflection, and we're seeing it. He's not a reflection of me, but he's a reflection of other people. That's the way at least I see it.
He's almost a caricature of a cliched America. From fast food to I don't even know if I'd call it racism, but just ignorance.
Yeah.
I mean, because I guess when you grow up with a silver spoon shoved up your ass,
he's going to have no perspective. He was born into money. Exactly. Yeah.
You have no concept, and same thing with the military. He got deferment, so he never really went in there. But so how do you try to understand what your soldiers are doing? Or what goes on there? I almost think that you should have a personality test for presidential candidates, but then again, it requires.
He wouldn't release it anyways. I mean, he passed it flying colors. The doctor says he's okay. It's all right. What are you talking about? He's good.
Tests like this, like I did.
He's got the best test. He's always taken the best time. He already passed. What are you talking about?
Who wants to be president?
Yep.
Okay, so just think of that. I sure as shit wouldn't want to be president. Holy fucking shit. No fucking way. Like, people who want to be president are generally in a lot of money, so that money isn't doing much for them. Now they want to get some power along with that. Like the fries to the burger, right? In his case.
And the thing is, a line I read in Dune, I think it was Chapter House, one of the later books, was a line where he said, power does not corrupt, but it does attract the corruptible.
Yep. Sure.
So, and I think that really opened my eyes to a different way of thinking as well. I don't think people, go in there thinking, hey, I'm going to be a fucking horrible politician. I doubt that Wiener, from the East Coast, I doubt he ever thought that he would actually end up sending pictures of his wiener to his.
No.
Well, I'm pretty sure he knew he was sending pictures of it to it. I don't think it was ever going to be made public, but yeah.
Oh, when he went into the office, but he went.
How did my phone do this?
Dude, that motherfucker's packing heat. Good for you, Wiener. And your last name's Wiener.
So yeah, it's like,
dude, I'd be sending dick pics to everybody. You too.
No, I'm kidding. Could be called Wiener's Wiener.
I'm kidding. Yeah. Well, I like that. I like the Dune take because I don't think Donald Trump is any more corrupt than he was before he was president. I just think there are more doors of corruption to walk through as president, but he's still the same shithead he was. What was that fucking show, The Apprentice?
Yeah.
Like, he's still that dude, right? So, I don't know.
I didn't understand the
sad.
whole photo op at the church because when he was.
Oh, I did.
No. I mean, yeah.
Part Illuminati. I mean, he had the Bible upside down. He's obviously Satan.
He doesn't know a single verse in it too, which is both good and bad.
Have you seen some of the memes with people holding up books in front of places? Like this guy's, I'm holding up a book about something I'll never do in front of a place I'll never go into.
That's awesome. And then he had to do it. Not a single advisor around him was telling him that was a good idea.
He doesn't have advisors.
It's
just a devil up here and a devil up here going, do it.
Yep.
Nobody was telling him it
devil
was
and a fatter. Well, I mean, he knows why he did that. One, for votes. Two, because he's a narcissist. He wanted to show them that he is the power guy, right? He doesn't give a fuck about the church. He doesn't give a fuck about the Bible.
I have to say, I'm surprised no one's photoshopped out the Bible, because with the way he's holding it. There's a picture of Hitler when he's
yeah.
Yep. Has done that. But what was funny was they did that. I think I sent that to you. I was talking to you about the Michael Dukakis election when that.
I love that name. And just before we get into this, Dukakis. Hello, I'm Dick Dukakis.
I think that's before our time, but yeah, go ahead.
He had this photo op taken with him in a tank, right? Just as he was running for president. And he had this stupid helmet on that had Dukakis on it and stuff. And it's like, he looked like a fucking idiot. He looked like a complete, and I remember I was married to Monica at the time. I looked at Monica and I said, he just cost himself the election with that picture, that one picture. He was kind of weak to begin. Sure enough, the next day, that picture's on the front page of all the fucking big papers. Just kind of like, dude, what the fuck? And then
Sinek brought up something similar with JFK versus Nixon, right?
Oh,
yeah. The debates that were listened to versus the debates that were watched.
Yep.
I think that's where we are too. It's the whole Trump factor is more social media, right? It's all how many tweets, everyone's instant gratification. Like I don't really care what he said in long terms. He speaks like in Twitter form, and that's all people care about and listen to. So,
which gets back to some of the stuff we were talking about with Day of the Dead, the social aspect where people go lizard brain. They just want. And I think we've got a lot of lizard brain people out there. Like I got into a conversation with a coworker.
You and your coworkers. I mean, obviously not at the place you work right now. Ex-coworker.
Yeah, this was years ago talking about the Trump administration in 2020.
Okay, go ahead.
I know.
But this individual is like, we're talking about the all this stuff that's going on.
I'm sorry. I'm losing it right now. Okay, go ahead.
Like, it's the fucking Democrats. It's a fucking lie. I said, okay.
Uh-oh.
I said, I'm going to stop you right there. I said, because you know what? There's a segment to the left that's fucking stupid and bad and way too extreme. I said, part of the right that's stupid and bad. and way too extreme. But a sweeping generalization isn't going to allow us to have a conversation. So you got to lose the sweeping generalization, and let's understand that there's bad hombres in both parties. Let's talk about the good hombres and how we could move them forward. Let's do that.
That's the key that you just brought up I don't mean to interrupt again, but the key, the people who want to have a conversation, there's not a lot of them around right now. At least they don't have the camera on them. Yeah. So a lot of people who don't want to have a conversation about this. They're set in their ways, and there may be a conversation happening, but it's one person waiting to talk, another person waiting to talk, and neither of them are listening to each other.
Yeah, that is fucking horrible, actually. Because we're so much better than that.
I'd like to think so, man. Absolutely.
I think we have this fast food mentality, short term, instant gratification, as you said. That we need to. It's like it takes me back to that one Star Trek Next Gen episode where. No. You'll get this.
I know.
Q wanted to help. He wanted to experience kind of being human, as it were. So he's helping Dr. What's her name? This was that little replacement doctor lady they had for a while who
wasn't Crusher, right?
Wasn't Crusher.
No.
Was a chick with little fucking bug eyes.
In the shorter, yeah.
Yeah, and so Q's like, what? Did I say something?
Chick with the bug eyes. I'm sorry, your jokes land on me a little bit delayed sometimes. And I'm picturing her now, and it's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So she's like, all right, Q, I'm doing this experiment here. I got these 4 pots, and it takes 48 hours for this to happen. He goes, well, why do we got to wait 48 hours? He goes, because that's how long the process takes. He goes, so what I want you to do is monitor the process, and then about every hour take notes and da-da-da-da-da-da, and so she goes back like an hour later, and poof, they're all full bloom. And she's like, what happened? He goes, I think it's ridiculous that you wait 48 hours for this stuff to grow. And she's like, we have to mark the process down. We have to understand what's happening by the hour. That's why we're doing this. We're not doing this so we can produce this. We're doing this so we can see what happens during production. He's like, I didn't think about that, which is what most people are like nowadays. They don't want to take that time. It's like I get that urge to fucking, case in point, the fucking bench I'm building. All right, you guys are fucking sick in the head with the woodworking bench that I've been building, right? I'm building this in the true artisanal style. I'm doing tenons and mortises and pegging that stuff in. Now, could I just put this shit together and drive some fucking lag bolts through it and call it a day? Yeah, I could. But you know what? Because I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, it takes more time, but it's going to last longer and it's going to be stronger.
And you're learning more in it too, right?
I'm learning more out of it, yeah.
So you know the shortcuts. By doing it the long way, you know what the shortcuts are, right?
Yeah, exactly. But most people are so goddamn impatient nowadays. It's like that feed me Seymour mentality, It's like, come on, fuck off, please.
Mm-hmm.
Or as Ricky Gervais would say, fucking hell.
It sucks because I know you're right, but I'm an impatient fucker sometimes.
No,
you're right. That's what sucks. It's like when I catch myself in it personally, I'm like, God, just fucking slow down, shut up, and just do it the right way instead of trying to.
Or when you're doing stuff with me, and then you're like, dude, why are you doing? Just do this.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is how I'm doing it.
Yeah, neither way is perfect, but I would venture to say leaning towards doing things your way. With the bench is a much better way to live because it saves you, because you run into so many fucking issues when you're like me and you're just driving bolts through shit, and it's just because all of a sudden now
is there video of this? Have I seen this?
No. It's whatever. I don't know.
YouTube channel?
I should not have my hands on power tools.
No, I think the thing is, another thing about this is you learn from it, not so much with the tools and everything in the method, but you pick up techniques that you can apply in your everyday life, just from a patient standpoint, just cooler heads kind of deal,
Plus, the other thing that I've noticed as I'm getting older, being in the middle of a project, is almost like this namaste place. Whereas when I'm finished with it, yeah, that feels good. But then I'm like, what the fuck do I do now?
On to the next project.
Like, honestly, taking care of my parents' place, like just digging up ground and figuring out what's wrong with the sprinkler system, or like putting caulk around new light fixtures and shit like that. I dread going there to do it. And then once I'm in the middle of doing it, I'm like, this
is sweet.
This lose track of time. This is,
right.
I want to do this. This is good. And then when it's over, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. You get in the zone. I definitely get in the zone when I'm out in the garage. Just working on the thing. No, because you just get to a place, it's like, okay, because I can, it's almost meditative sometimes, augmented, mind you, but I can get to a place where I can, it's almost like time slows down a little bit. It's like, okay, I need to do this, and I need to do this. I'll need to do this first, and then I can do this, and then I can do this.
Mm-hmm. Slow down and do it right the first time.
Yeah, what I've been getting out of that, and this correlates with what we've been talking about, but it's you get in that Zen moment, and it's like I don't fuck up as much. And I notice, and one thing, like you said, I'm learning more. Is like when I had to do all those fucking tenons. God, I knew that it was going to be a challenging project. I knew it. But I didn't anticipate the time,
right.
The challenge. I didn't understand how much challenge I'd have to endure.
Ooh, there's a key right there. To interrupt you again, don't anticipate too much. And just in general with projects you're working on, like putting timetable on shit. Like if we want to like link this two together, like the knee-jerk reaction is to dismantle the police. Okay.
Yes.
But don't put a timetable on change. Just know that we got to work our way through it. Don't, just like you're building this bench like the old school way, don't put a timetable on that, because you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Exactly.
So yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
But when I started doing the tenons, I had to, especially on the long stretches. The short ones weren't so bad, but the long ones in the beginning, because I had to basically cut all the tenons and then go back and shape them for the different holes that they're getting plugged into. Well, that would take me, the first one took me over an hour to do. The last one, I'm talking like the shaping.
Sure.
The last one took me less than 15 minutes. So it just got, because you it's repetition, right?
Mm-hmm.
The robot started to learn.
If more people could approach a lot of these problems that we have with a long-term mentality versus a short-term solution, I think we'd be in a far better place.
I just think it's again, with younger people like me. Well, I'm 36. I guess I'm compared to a lot of the people. There's a lot of people younger than me. They don't want to wait even more than I do. And the patience game is getting less and less and less as you go down, generally.
That's part of, you could tie that to the whole Trump factor with instant gratification. You can try, but at the same point, my hope is everything that's been happening now there's definitely been some changes,
Good.
And
there should be some changes.
It's good to see. So.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Brenda? I thought she sent that to me. Maybe she didn't. That interview with S.E. Cup, there was a interview with the councilwoman who is kind of leading the charge on the whole defund the police or dismantle the police.
Sure.
And it was crazy to watch that little segment, because usually when I hear just some of this out of context with the rest of the episode, 9 times out of 10, it's like, it's so out of context that the true meaning isn't there. But in this case, that was not the case, because she's like, well, when they're talking about defunding the police, she's like, well, what's your plan? She goes, well, we're working towards getting to a place, that we can imagine, would be a better place, with the, and then, and she's like, oh no, hold on. What happens if in the middle of the night there's a home invasion? Who do you call? She's like, well, and I've had some conversations with my neighbors, and they're concerned about this, but you have to remember a lot of that comes from like that white privilege, that feeling. And I'm like, I want to harm you.
Yeah, but put yourself in a black person's position. If that happens to you, who are they going to call? You think they're going to call the police? No.
No, but no, I hear you. Well, in our current state, yes, you're correct. But what I'm getting at is
That's a good point.
Defunding or completely just tearing down.
I think the whole defund thing is word. They should have never used that word. They should done restructure or something like that because I think it brings context.
Because there's too many stupid conversations going on about it right now that are actually are wasting everybody's time.
Dismantle. Come on, nobody in their right mind thinks we can live in a society with no sort of law enforcement. You know what I mean? Like, you think the citizens are going to police each other? Well, I'm sorry, but when rioting happens and stores are getting looted, who is policing that? We saw it starting to happen a little bit.
I would say, at least in my neighborhood, we had neighborhood watches that banded together, and I wouldn't know if it was any better or any worse. I would at first there was a feeling of community, but at the same time, then that paranoia and that sense of like, is everyone a target already like was instilled into people. So I think it's like you said, it has to be, there's crazy people on the left, there's crazy people on the right. You got to meet in the middle. You got to have a conversation. The most important part is to start that conversation. And
right,
it took too many people to die before this happened.
And everybody has to show up at that 50 fucking yard line. And that's where you talk. You don't talk in their goal. You don't talk at their goal.
The 50-yard line. I'm telling you, like, people who are going into these conversations, to me, they're delusional. Their 50-yard line is technically the 20.
No, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, so, like, we got to get, like, I'm not saying people who think like me, because I'm not necessarily right. And we're not necessarily right. Who do we get? Who do we trust to draw the 50-yard line? It's really, like, we need rational minds who aren't, I guess, in the pockets of business and actually have
people who can set their emotions aside. Because you have to be a cooler head on this shit, because
that ties it back to the whole Dawn of the Dead thing, right? The dude that was on the TV, you have to stay rational. Be it like he's like you.
Oh, in the very beginning, yeah.
When he's talking about like how to deal with the zombies, everyone's like, these are people.
It was an emotional response.
And I'm not trying to tie the two together. I'm just thinking it's got to be both. And there's definitely emotion involved with everything that's happening, and you can't just push that under the rug and tell people to be logical when people are dying. It's just no,
and you're right. But at the same time, you have to tell people to be fucking logical, because otherwise more people are gonna fucking die. Okay, we got to have a cooler head. It's fucked up. It's a situation. We're gonna put people who fucking hate each other across from each other. We got to set that shit aside and figure out what can we do to fix this.
So I think the person who's whatever it is, and I think the Dawn of the Dead was a perfect analogy, because it's not because we think a bunch of people are zombies. I was joking about that, but they're in a crisis mode. The world's basically just all fucked up and dying, and that guy's up there saying what. He's right. He's absolutely right. People need to think rationally. The people who are in between this, cops versus citizens, or what's going on with the races and culture, that person needs to write all the shit down on the board. We should dismantle the police, write it down. We should separate races. As dumb as that sounds, write it on the board. You need to hear every fucking voice, write it on the board. All that does is makes everybody seem like they're being heard. Once you do that, people are much more likely to hang their emotions at the door and come in and talk.
Just actually landed on a very good thing, because that's what most people want. They just want to be seen. They want to be heard. Yes. I'm not talking in the social media likes thing. They just want to be acknowledged. They just want someone to say, "You exist. I see you."
And guess what, people? You know what that means? That means sort of extremists, not the ones that are inciting violence, but I mean, write them all down. If you want to fix this problem and you truly mean it, you have to hear all people's points of views. Guess what? That means white nationalists. Guess what, white nationalists? That means the Black Panthers. I'm not equating them as the same thing, but I'm trying to find people on pretty much opposite sides of the spectrum. You got to listen to their point, let them be heard. Guess what? Their viewpoints might be real fucking stupid and obviously wrong. You still got to make them feel like they're heard.
And you can't let you can't let them be bullied either when they're saying their point. It's like,
Yep.
It's like if anyone said, "Oh, let's fucking shut the fuck up," or you're out of here.
Well, I would say shut the fuck up if you want to. If you're a white nationalist and you want to, your idea is to kill black people, I would be like,
no,
you should probably shut the fuck up.
That was the wrong term.
No, but I hear
the wrong term to use.
You know what?
You can march, and that's your First Amendment right, but it's after that. No,
what's the better term for this? What's the better term for this? If it's not white nationalism, the whites who think there is a race war going on and recognize it. Is that a white nationalist?
Well, they think there's a race war I think that the white nationalists, I think the.
I must have used the wrong term there. I don't mean the KKK. I mean whites who think like that we need to separate. I don't mean we. I'm not a fucking white nationalist, but white people who think they need to separate the races because there's a race war going on. Like as dumb as that concept is.
Is that a Reddit stream or something? I don't know what that's from.
Well, that's because that was the.
There's a name for those types of people, but. What I'm saying is you got to listen to those idiots if they're not inciting violence. Listen to their point, and then maybe we can talk. And guess what happens? You convince people who are that stupid that their point might not be right. So you really want to change it, you're going to have to do some
you're
shit
right.
you don't want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to eat some humble pie. You know, and people don't. Humble pie doesn't generate views and it doesn't generate clicks.
Yep.
And personally, I kind of feel like the fucking internet has just fucking destroyed humanity, or at least
it's the age of information
for someone that lives in it.
With that, the age of disinformation and misinformation. So
the age of too much information.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people like you don't have too much information. Yes, you can read a EULA.
Or terms of service. Oh fuck, that's funny, dude. That's fucking funny. Yep. Yes, you can.
That would be one thing. Like every time you have to sign up for something, you have to read the entire terms of service before you even.
And there's a
test. Yeah, it's like, okay, do you really know what you're doing?
Nobody would own an iPhone.
No one. Facebook would be like a quarter full.
Yeah, the Apple Store is like a DMV trying to take a test, and people just dread it. God, gotta go get my new iPhone 45. Oh, it's gonna suck.
So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of the answers, man. But I'm willing to point out the fucking problems that most people want to shove their fucking heads in the sand or up their ass. So they don't have to see it. It's like you just want to rub their face in some of this shit sometime. Like this fucking Karen epidemic I was talking about. Can we segue?
Segue. Karen, go to Karen.
Go to Karen.
Do tell.
Go Karen on 3. No, there was that one TMZ thing where this fucking Karen was yelling at this Hispanic lady, telling her to go back to her country. And the Hispanic lady's like, "You stupid bitch, I'm in my country. I was born here. Why don't you go back to your country? You're the one who came here on a boat," you know? And then Karen's just getting all pissed off, and she's going and yelling at the dude who's filming that he's trying to tell him he's got to get out of the store. All right, and then she goes back and she's arguing with this Hispanic girl, and then the Hispanic girl turns to walk away. She's like, I'm walking away from this. And Karen grabs her arm and pulls her around. And the girl said, "You don't touch me." And she just slaps the shit out of Karen. Just one slap. Whap. And then Karen just said, "Oh, you just slapped me. You just slapped me. Oh, you just slapped me." And she just storms out of the store.
Her lizard brain kicked in.
And then her husband came out later the next day and did this apology for his wife and apologized for her mental illness. And he's crying and shit. And it's like, don't make excuses.
Yeah, she's not mentally ill. She's just an idiot.
All right.
Yeah.
Should we dial up what movie we're gonna do next week?
Oh shit.
Do you want to go that route? I was gonna do the old rando.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Do you have that thing? Do you
have All right. So that's what we're gonna do. So pick.
Yes.
So we'll pick a year. Pick a year.
I'll pick a year. 2008.
2008.
2001.
We'll go 2001. Okay, Aaron, pick a genre.
Oh shit. Comedy.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Get some depth out of this deal.
It's gonna select, like, it's not just comedies. Like,
Okay.
isn't it? Is it gonna select a category?
No, it'll go through a comedy. Do a rating, 1 through 10 or 1 through 8. Give me a number. Yeah, you. I'll do a number.
So hold on a second. Before, I just want to understand this randomizer. Is comedy the only thing we're selecting from right now?
We're generating through a genre.
No. Okay, I thought it would generate, like, we would
I could
pick
do
the
any.
category
I could do any. So I'll do any.
Okay, let's do any. Yep.
Okay.
Unless you have a genre in mind.
No, I just was picking genres to fill it out. Like, if there were 3 that it would choose from.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, we can do that next time. We'll roll dice and stuff.
That's cool.
I don't have the die on me right now. Pick a number.
7.
Oh no, going with the good movie. Jeez. Okay, generate. Oh my gosh. Okay, our choices are, how's it pronounced? Amelie?
Okay.
Or AI, or the hit K-Pax.
What the fuck are these? Like,
K-Pax actually was a decent movie, man. That was
okay, so how do I spell this? K-Pax?
Just like
K-Pax
the
with
letter K-P-A-X.
Old Kevin
Spacey.
Spacey there.
These are any? Okay, all right. K-Pax with Kevin Spacey. Yeah, I think I'll pass on that. What's the other one?
The French hit that is probably taught in every French class.
Amelie.
Just because, I think it's Amelie or Amelie.
Amelie.
It's French.
Amelie.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Amelie. I'm trying
Amelie.
to fucking help you here.
Amelie.
Oh, okay. Romance. This is a romance rom-com. Have you guys seen this already?
Or AI. Or we can go wild card, and the wild card is random going number. Nope.
AI. Oh, okay. AI is the one with, like, Will Smith. Is that one? No.
No, that's
That's iRobot. That's never mind. Okay.
the one with Haley Joel Osment.
I'm a man of little culture.
I think
apparently.
that's Steven Spielberg, right? Oh, okay.
What's
Or
the
we
wild
can
card?
go with Commando.
Yes, Commando is the choice. Commando is absolutely the choice. It's been a long time since I've watched this turd, and I'm going to watch it again.
I don't know if I've ever seen Commando. 1985 Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, we're watching Commando, and we're wrapping that into some riveting conversation. Commando, unfucking believable. I like that generator.
I'm going to kill you last.
Is that the one with stick around or blow off some steam? Yeah. Is that in Commando? All right.
Stick Around was Predator.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's say goodbye to everyone else. I hope you didn't learn anything, or I hope you did. Either way, pay attention to your neighbors, and be careful out there.
Absolutely. Treat each other with a little respect and cut each other some slack. Everybody's going through something stupid. Some more than others, obviously, but let the voices be heard and stop fucking talking. Start fucking listening.
Is going through something. Just remember that. Then it's not just about you.